What is up, and hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I've been gone for a while, I know this. I've been hard at work. I decided I was going to take a bit of a break from minimum wage that I was working on because it was so near to completion. And there was so many bugs and things that I needed to go and fix and address that it was just kind of burning me out. So I decided to make a little horror game called Cabin. Just gave myself 2 weeks, 2 week deadline, so it's what can I do in 2 weeks. So I decided to make a tiny little game and play with light and shadows. So let's just have a look what that looks like. So there you go, you got the little shadows, the flickering flames, all the cool stuff, and wall torches and things. Those torches aren't normally there. And a little lighter that you can carry around, shadows that can cast by objects, and the like. So let's just light up that candle. And you can see if you look down, the light is casting its own little shadow. I wanted everything, all the lights and shadows, to be as realistic as possible. So that meant using a lot of dynamic lights, because obviously, you know, it needs to be dynamic to be able to pick it up and move it around. And obviously, as well, with it being flames and things, I wanted to have like a nice realistic flame flicker. So what I decided to do was, like, I thought what would be good is have a point light that changes intensity. Which, you know, worked, but it looked kind of washed out. There's only one color, so I decided to add two. So one's orange, one's yellow, and they set their intensity based on a random integer between floats every second or so, and that just scales the flickering flame on the top of the torch there. So we get a nice orange and a nice yellow glow. Now, I can already see that a lot of people are going, so basically you just doubled the light cost of every dynamic light in your level, and yep, I did. The first thing I started getting feedback from was the frame rate chugging, which it didn't on my system. Like, I've only got 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 1050 and a 4-core, and it ran perfectly on Ultra, so weird. And it was running fine on my girlfriend's system on a mix of high and medium. But people started reporting back that the frame rate was chugging because of all the dynamic lights. Someone suggested I turn them on and off as you go through doors and things, but that seemed to require a lot of coding. And I started thinking back to the ways problems got solved back in the 80s, where, you know, the hardware wasn't physically able to do certain things, but clever coders are able to trick it, or at least trick the player into thinking it was doing the same thing. So to show you what I mean by that is we'll have a look at these two torches. So you got this one here, and you see the nice flickering orange and yellow flame, and you got this one here with a nice flickering orange and yellow flame. And other than a slight variation in the brightness of the orange, because I find it really hard to replicate the same colors in Unreal because of the way you have to adjust all the RGB sliders and things, it's really difficult, I find, to get the perfect colors I want. So, but I think this one looks a bit more natural anyway. But if we look at this, we will see, no, I don't want to edit the it's your fault or that, I want to edit the torch. So edit all torch lit. And you'll see that inside this torch, we've got that piece of code. And if you look at the wall torch example, which I believe is this one, yes, you will see that instead of that, we've got this, which seems simpler but is actually twice as much effort, because if you'll notice, there are 2 point lights. Those 2 point lights, so each of these torches is twice as costly as one of these, because this only uses 1 point light, but I cycle through 4 slightly different colors. So what that means is I'm actually gonna give this one more of a yellowy hue, I think. There you go, because it was a bit orangey. There's a bit too much orange going on. So let's just desaturate that down a little. There we go. Because there was a bit too orange going on. So basically, cut a long story short, what I've done is I've halved the light cost of these torches while doubling their color range. So the result is you get a much greater color range at half the light cost, but you still get the sweet dynamic shadows. So if I remove that one, which is the example one, that's the bad one, and bring the optimized one over, and rotate it around so it's roughly the same place as the previous one. Because what I just want to point out is the shadows. Because the reason, there we go. That's it. There we go. Because the reason I changed these this way is because I wanted to keep as much of the shadows and flicker and flame as I could while halving the cost on the level. So now, as you can see, everything runs a buttery 60 FPS everywhere. You can see the FPS counter up in the top there, even when I look directly at the flames. So let's grab the lighter now, because the lighter works in exactly the same way. So let's go light up some more of these dynamic light sources, because everyone was lighting up every single candle they came across and just really tanking their FPS. But as you can see, I've lit another 2 of these lights, and it's barely. I'm getting pretty much maybe a frame less than what I was getting before. So the net result of this is my girlfriend was able to play on her little i3 dual core laptop at full ultra because of the new efficiency in terms of the light sources. So basically, it's how many wall torches do we have in the world? Wall torch. So each of these would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There would have been 14 dynamic lights there. Candle. There would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5? Yeah, 5. So that would have been another 10 dynamic lights. So that's 24. Then there's how many Zippos? 3 Zippos, so that would be another 6, that would be 30. So I was running around with over 30 dynamic lights, and then there's 3 dynamic lights for the lightning spawner. So that's 33. And then more dynamic lights for every time it casts a shadow, which spawn in, and then got the fire. So that would have been another 2, so that would be 35, and then another 2 for the wood burning stove. That would have been 37. So I probably had 40. Because I did have more candles and things. I deleted 5 or 6 candles, so I probably about 40. I significantly boosted the frame rate of the game, so hopefully everyone who had problems with that doesn't now. Yeah. So you can find the game at Grumpy Monkey Indie itch.io/cabin with a K. I'll leave some links to the Let's Plays in the description of the video. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to like, subscribe, all that stuff, that's great, and I'll see you next time.